What's going on, guys? Dr. Greg here with Movement Driven. Today we're gonna go over proper positioning of your arm in an overhead position if you're doing any kind of lifting towards the sky, okay? So if we put the weight, or if we have a dumbbell or a kettlebell on one side, and we raise up, what I see a lot of the time, there's weakness in a muscle called your serratus anterior. Now that muscle is located behind the shoulder blade, kind of between the shoulder blade and the rib cage, and it wraps around the rib cage to the side here. And it's a super important muscle for overhead function, overhead lifting. Essentially, the action of that muscle is to punch the shoulder blade forward. We call protraction of the shoulder blade. So when we get up here, that muscle is one of the main muscles moving my shoulder blade, that and the trap. They're the only two really big muscles having an influence on that upward rotation. So when I get here, what I see a lot of people do is that upper trap's working too much and they start to get a little shruggy. And then, shruggy is a really good word, by the way. So they get a little shruggy with it, and when they get shruggy, they start to bend the elbow, and then the lat gets tight over time, and then that leads to a whole kind of slew of problems. It's a snowball effect, right? So we have to make sure that the upper trap's not doing too much and that the serratus anterior muscle, that punching muscle, is doing its job. So when we get overhead, what I like to say is we want to elongate through the arm, but I don't want to shrug. So that's the difference. I don't want to get up here and shrug to try to reach. I want to keep this relatively relaxed. Is it working? Is it on fire, that upper trap? For sure. It needs to be a super important part of this movement, but it can't be the only part. So when I say elongate, I want to go through the middle finger and get my middle finger, the tip of my middle finger, as far away from my chest as I can by moving out in this direction, not up. That's the difference. Out, not up. And if you start to work on just being able to elongate here and get strong and coordinated in the ability to do that, you're gonna feel less tightness here when you're doing your overhead pressing. So there's lots of ways to strengthen that serratus muscle, and you might need to strengthen that before even working on the coordination of being able to activate it up here. And if you need help strengthening that, check out our YouTube video for some serratus strengthening, some shoulder blade push-ups, lots of different cool functional activities to get that muscle firing the right way for better overhead performance, whether you're a thrower or just like lifting in the gym.